Because there are no fractions here inside the parentheses, I would, in this case, get rid of the 5 and the 20 by multiplying each side by 20. So I'm going to take this guy multiplied by 20. Take this guy multiplied by 20. So if I multiply this by 20, 20 and 5 simplifies to 4, and then 4 times 3 is 12. So I get 12, and then 1 plus b. 21 over 20, divide times 20. This can simplify, and I get this. Now, over here, let me write the problem again. So I got divide this. I got 3/5, 1 plus p equals 21 over 20. Now, if I did the distributive property first, I get 3/5 and then 3/5 of p, right, equals 21 over 20. I can now choose to multiply by the LCM, which is times 20, and then this one I'll put in parentheses and then times 20. I can simplify this and just get 21. On this side, 20 times, let's do the first two. 20 times 3 over 5, what is 3/5 of 20? Well, 20 divided by 5 is 4, times 3 is 12, so I get 12. Plus, again, 20 times 3/5 of p, 20 divided by 5 is 4, 4 times 3, I get 12p. Now, notice that on this side, I'll do the distributive property, and I get 12 plus 12p equals 21. I get exactly the same thing. So when you had the original problem, which was this 3/5, 1 plus p, which one do you think suits it better to do? Multiply both sides. Sorry, this is 20 over 20. Multiply both sides by 20 right off the bat, right? Multiply this side by 20 and multiply 3/5 by 20. Or do the distributive property and then, as you can see here, right, do the distributive property first and then multiply everything by 20. Well, it becomes a matter of choice. Now, you can also not do any of that and just deal with fractions. Okay, so let me make another line over here. So let's say, nah, I don't want to do any of that. I'll solve the problem as it is, and you can. So again, you get 3/5, and you get 3/5 of p equals 21 over 20. Well, we still have to find the common denominator, right? So we get change everything to 20. It is times 4, so on top is times 4, I get 12. This is times 4, on top is times 4, so it's 12. So now I can subtract, well, I can say, oh, I want to subtract 12 over 20 over here, and on this side I'm going to subtract 12 over 20. And I get 12 over 20p, right, because these two go away. And over here, what I can actually subtract, because they're common denominators, so 21 minus 12 is 9 over 20. I can then multiply, right, by the reciprocal of 12 over 20. Right, which is 20 over 12, and then multiply this by 20 over 12. This and this all simplifies, and I finally have my variable isolated, which is p. This and this simplifies, and I get 9 over 12, which will give me 3/4 eventually. Now, if I didn't do that, right, so I got the answer, and I got 3/4 here without eliminating the fractions. Now, over here, whichever one you did, let's see, you got minus 12, minus 12. 12p equals 9. Notice we get, and then we divide both sides by 12. We get p equals 9 over 12, which is the same thing as 3/4. We get the same exact answer. Now we have to go back to the original equation and check. So here, I'm not going to do this one, but 3/5, 1 plus 3/4 equals 21 over 20. 3/5. We can do this tree property, or you can add them first. It's up to you. So we can add these two and then multiply. So we get 3/5. And then inside 1 plus 3/4 is just 1 and 3/4. But 1 and 3/4, it's 7 over 4. And I'm going to write that as an improper fraction. Okay, so 7 over 4 equals 20 over 20. I have to multiply these two now, right? So I get 21, so 3 times 7 is 21, and then 5 times 4 is 20. And as you can tell, that makes all our work correct. 0 equals negative 5 over 4x minus 6 over 5. Make a line here. 0 equals 5 over 4, negative 5. Negative 5 over 4x minus 6 parentheses. Okay. Now if I multiply, see what happens here, because there's inside the parentheses there's a fraction, and sometimes when there's a fraction inside the parentheses, you're better off doing the distributive property and then getting rid of the fraction if that's the path you're taking. Let me do this without doing the distributive property. Let's say, you know what, I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Multiply this side by 4, and then multiply this side by 4. Now 4 times 0 is just 0, so nothing changes here, but this 4 and this 4 can simplify. And I get negative 5, and inside the parentheses it just stays the same. If I continue, now I do the distributive property. I get negative 5x, negative times a negative times positive. And in this case, we got lucky because there's a 5 here in the denominator, right? And then negative 5 times 6 over 5, those two 5s end up simplify, and I get 5x, negative 5x plus 6. If we continue this, right, we're going to do minus 6 and minus 6. Negative 5x. Now we divide both sides by negative 5. Negative negatives are positive, so that gives me x, and this just gives me 6 over 5. Now, if you did over here, I'm going to show you what happens if I do the distributive property first. Negative 5 fourths x, and then multiply, I got positive, and then 5 fourths times 6 over 5. We simplify the 5, we get 6 over 4. And then what we can do is multiply both sides, and change colors here. Multiply both sides by 4. This times 4, and because this has 2 terms, I'm going to multiply that by 4 like this in parentheses. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times negative 5 over 4 is just negative 5x. And 4 times 6 over 4 is just 6, because the denominators and the simplifying. Right? So notice that we get this. We're in the same exact step. We're going to subtract 6 from each side, right? And you can tell we get the same exact process. So x eventually is going to be 6 over 5. Our check. check. Well, if I do our check, I'm going to get 0. So here's my check. 0 equals negative 5 over 4, and then instead of that x, I'm going to put 6 over 5 minus 6 over 5. Oh, this one's easy. 6 over 5 minus 6 over 5 is just 0. So 0 equals, and negative 5 over 4 times 0 is just 0. So we are good. 3/4 minus 5/4 m equals 113 over 24. Okay. We can't combine these two because this one has a variable, the other one doesn't. So let's get rid of the fractions. I'm going to multiply both sides by 24, this by 24, and these two terms by 24. Now, if you wanted to write it in a different way, you can also do this. And multiply this guy by 24, multiply this guy by 24. Does that make it easier for you? It's up to you. Right, and if you're not going to do that, then just put in parentheses and then multiply each term inside the parentheses times 24 individually, right? Like this treaty property. So multiply these two first. 24 divided by 4 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 24 divided by 4 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. 24 and 24, this simplifies, and I get 113. We're going to do minus 18 on both sides. Feel free to use a calculator. 3 minus 8 is 5. 10 minus 1 is 9, so we have negative 95. So now we get, divide this by negative 30, divide this by negative 30. M is going to be positive 95 over 30. Let's simplify this a little bit more. Let's divide that by Let's see what we get. We're going to get 19 over here, and then 30 divided by 5. So simplified answer, 19 over 6. If I go to my original equation, I have 3/4 minus 5/4 of m, which is 19 over 6, equals 113 over 24. So it's not that bad. All right, so let's simplify and let's just calculate this first. So 3/4, we're multiplying here, right? So something to simplify. So on the bottom, I'm going to get 24, and then 5 times 19 is 95, equals 113 over 24. Oh, hopefully this works out. Forgetting something, this doesn't look good. 5 4. Did I do something wrong? 24 and 4, 6 is 18. 24, 6 is 30. 113 over 24 cancels out. 95, negative 30. Oh. Negative 30. This is positive, by the way, so my answer, oh, okay, here's my mistake. We're at this point, right? So this is, first of all, my mistake was here. 95. Divide both sides by negative 30. M equals a negative number, negative 95 over 30. Divide both, simplify, divide by 5, we can get negative 19 over 30 divided by 5 is 6. Negative 19 over 6. So this is just negative. So I'm going to start to check again. So in my check, it's 3/4 minus 5/4 of m, which is, I'll put it in parentheses because it's negative, and that should equal 113 over 24. Okay, that looks a little better. 3/4. Now negative and negative is a positive. 5 times 9 is 95, and then 4 times 6 is 24. 113 over 24. Right. So on the right side, there's nothing to do. Now I'm going to combine these two. Well, the LCM is 24. So 4 times 6 is 24, so I multiply this top by 6, I get 18. This one is already 24, so no necessary changes. If you add these two fractions, do you get 113? Yes, you do. Okay. 635, 72 equals negative 5 over 2, negative 11 over 14 plus x. Alright, so we know the LCM between 72 and 2 is 72. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 72. Well, let's see. Because I have a fraction inside the bracket, let me just, so let's say I don't do the distributive properly, right? And I multiply by 72 and multiply this guy by 72. 72 and 72 simplifies, right? That goes away. We're left with 635. Over here, I'm simplifying 2 and 72. I get 36, right? So 36 times 5 is 190. 36 times 5 is 180, negative. So I get negative 180. And inside the parentheses is all the same. That's x. I still have to do the distributive property. So 635 equals, and then 180 divided by 4 is 45. So negative and negative is a positive, and then 180 divided by 4 is 45, and then I'm going to have to multiply that by 11. And I'm going to get 495. Minus, because the negative times the positive negative, minus 180 times x is just 180 x. And that's what I end up getting. Yeah, so now here's my line in the middle. We're going to subtract 495 from this side and subtract 495 from this side. That goes away. 635 minus 495 is 140. And we'll have negative 180x. Divide both sides by negative 180. My answer is going to be a negative number. X equals 140 over 180, which we can simplify. Well, we can divide by 10, and we get 14 over. Oops. We're going to get 14 over 18 negative, or divide by 2, and we get negative 7 over 9, and that's my final answer. Okay. Don't trust me. Do a check. Which one is this? So 635 over 72 equals negative 5 over 2, negative 11 over 4, plus we're going to add negative 7 over 9. Okay. So 635 over 72 equals negative 5 over 2. And let's combine these two. Well, LCM between 4 and 9 is 36, so they both are going to change to 36. Right, that's the new equivalent fraction. So 4 is times 9, so we're going to go 99 on top, right? How did the 9 become 36? Times 4, so I'm going to multiply by top by 7, we get negative 28. 635 over 72 equals, now, 5 over 2. Let's combine these two inside the parentheses. Well, they're both negative, thank God, so we've got to get a negative answer. We're adding, right? So we go further left on the number line. And if we add 99 plus 28, we get 127. Okay, almost there. So now the last thing we do is multiply these two numbers. So a negative and negative is a positive, good. Let's do the bottom because it's easy. 2 times 36 is 72, so far so good. And then multiply 5 times 127. And look, we do get 635. 2b plus 9 over 5 equals negative 11, 5. Again, welcome to get rid of the denominators or not. It's up to you. So I'll multiply both sides by 5, this by 5, and this by 5. On the right side, this and this simplifies, and I get negative 11 left over. On the left side, make sure you do this really properly. 5 times 2b is 10b. 5 times 9 over 5. So here's 5 times 9 over 5. These two simplify, and you're left with 9. Now you can solve this. We're obviously going to do minus 9 here, minus 9 here. That goes away. 10b equals negative 20. Divide by 10, divide by 10. And look at that. This actually is a nice integer. So, original equation, 2 times negative 2. I'm going to replace the b here. It's negative 2. Plus 9 over 5 equals 11 over negative 5. Well, let's see if that's true. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Plus 9 over 5 equals 11 and, what do you call it? 11 over negative 5. You can leave it. I'm just going to leave it like that. Now we're going to add these two. We can change, so the LCM between, remember this is over 1, so the LCM between 1 and 5 is 5, so let's change that to 5. This one's already a 5, so 9 over here. So this is times, how did the 1 become a 5? Times 5, which means I multiply the top by 5. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. The right side, there's nothing to do. One more step. And then negative 20 over 5 plus 9 over 5. Well, it's addition of fractions, so we keep the base. And then negative 20 plus 9 is negative 11. Okay. Oh, I'm glad so notice that I put the minus. So guys, this is the same thing as this. Right? Which is the same thing as this. Here, the negative is in next to 11. Here's negative, it's next to negative 5, and here's in the middle. I mean, if you divide, if you took the calculator, and I'll do this now, and you've got 11 divided by 5, it's going to be 2.2. Right, so this is going to equal a negative divided by a positive, and let me use that other color. It's going to be a negative, and the answer is 2.2. On the bottom, on this one, 11 divided by negative 5. Well, it's a positive divided by negative, so it's still going to give me a negative and This one, if you divide 11 divided by 5 first, you get 2.2, and then take the opposite of 2.2, which is negative 2.2. Same answer, whichever one you write. Okay. I don't know which one I just did. Okay. 3 over 2, 7 over 3n plus 1 equals 3 over 2. Now, for this one, let's see. 6 times 4, 2, 6. Okay, again, lucky for us, for this one doesn't seem like I need to do the distributive property first. Right? And then if you can see a little bit further ahead, then you'll notice, and this is what I mean, look, multiply this by 4, this and this simplifies to 2, 3 times 2 is 6. Good. This side I multiply by 4. This 4 and this 2 becomes 2, and 2 times 3 is 6, right? And then everything in parentheses. Now, the reason I say it worked out, when I do the distributive property, right, this is a whole number in a fraction. Normally, you might get a fraction, but in this case, the 6 and 3 simplifies to 2, and 2 times 7 gives me 14. And don't forget the 6 times 1 is 6, and there we have our equation. Minus 6 here, so let me draw the line in the middle. The minus 6 here. 6 minus 6 is 0. This goes away, I get 14m. Divide by 14, divide by 14, m equals 0. Wow, love. You're going to love when m equals 0. That's the best answer possible. So if m equals 0, I go back to my original equation. 7 over 3 and then times 0 plus 1 equals 3 over 2. Now, worry about what happens inside the parentheses. 7 over 3 times 0, so this is just 0. Right, so the only thing I have, and 0 plus 1 is just 1. So now I can multiply that. 3 over 2 times 1 is just 3 over 2. Beautiful check. Because there's nothing to do. Negative a minus 5 over 4 minus 8 over 3a plus 1 equals 19 over 4. So I'll actually do this because there's like this. For this particular problem, I would multiply everything by 4. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I would do it really properly because you have. If it was just this, maybe I'll multiply both sides by 4 right off the bat. But because of this guy, adding this extra term here, it just might make things a little bit more confusing. So I'm gonna simplify this equation a little bit further. So negative 8, I'm going to do the distributive property here. Negative and negative are positive. 5 times 8 is 40. Actually, I can simplify, sorry. 8 and 4 is going to simplify to this and this, and simplify to 2. So it's actually 5 times 2/3. 5 times 2 is 10, and then over 3a. And then we have 5 over 4 times positive 1, so it's going to be negative because this is negative, and 4 like that, equals negative 19 over 4. Let me just confirm. 10, 3. Okay. Now I find the LCM, and the LCM of all, here I'm going to put this over 1. The LCM of all the denominators is 1, so I'm going to multiply the right side by 12, and the left side I'm going to multiply. I could have combined, sorry. Actually, you know what? I'll combine later. Multiply this by 12. So, let's do the right side. Negative 19 over 4 times 12. This and this simplifies to 3, and 3 times negative 19 is negative 57. Right here, 12 times negative a is negative 12. 12 times 10a over 3. Well, the 12 and 3 simplify to 4. 4 times 10 is 40, so I get 40a. 12 times, so I did this, now I'm going to do this. 12 times 5 over 4. The 12 and 4 simplify to 3, and then 3 times 5 is 15. There you go. Now I can, combine the 12 and the negative 15. So I get 48 minus 27 equals negative 57. You can, at this point, do a story. Here's my variable a. It's being multiplied by 40, subtract 27, and then equals to negative 57. The two inverse operations I'm going to use is add 27 to both sides and then divide both sides by 40. Plus 27, plus 27, I get 48. Negative 57 plus 27 is negative 30. Divide by 40, divide by 40. A equals negative 3 over 4. Right? Simplify. Now comes the not so cool part. Let's substitute. So negative a, right? So so here's my expression, negative a. So I'm going to take the a out and replace it with negative 3/4. So again, take the a out, replace it with negative 3/4. Minus 5 over 4, and inside the parentheses is negative 8 over 3 times a, which is negative 3 over 4, plus 1, and all that, hopefully, is negative 19 over 4. So notice that on the right side, I can just go ahead and do this because there's nothing to do. All right. These two, negative and negative is a positive, so let me write 3/4. Minus 5 over 4. Let's take care of the parentheses. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. So you have negative 8 over 3 times negative 3 over 4. First of all, it's a negative times a negative, so that's going to be a positive. This 3 and this 3 will go away, it simplifies to 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and then 2 plus 1 is just 3. So all of that becomes a big 3. Let's continue. 3 over 4 minus, and now we can multiply 5/4 times 3. Well, there's nothing to simplify, so 5 times 3 is 15 over 4. Oh no! We're off by 1, or I'm off by 1. What? Alright, now I gotta double check my work. Well, I have the luxury of doing this. Positive 3/4 becomes 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. Alright, let me double check my work. Negative a minus, that's a 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 over 3, positive 10 over 3a, plus minus 5 over 4. That's okay. Multiply both sides by 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 19 times, is 57, so I'm okay there. Negative 12, negative 15 is negative 27. Negative 12. 4 times 10 is 40. 12 and 4 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Let me do this again. I get 3/4. Highlight this. So again, this is minus 5 over 4. What is this? Simplifies to 1, and this simplifies to 2. We get positive 2. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. This is 3/4 minus 15 over 4. I copy this. I might have to do this again. Alright. Negative a minus 5 over 4 minus 8 over 3a plus 1 equals negative 19 over 4. Copy everything correctly. Right, so negative a is going to be positive. Simplify 1 and 2. 4 and a becomes 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 over 3a. Okay. Minus negative 5 over 4 equals negative 19 over 4. Right, so far it looks okay. Yeah, it's 3 1/3. Alright, so let's see. Now we're going to times this by 4 and times this whole expression times 4. Negative 4a. Sorry, wow, not 4. Apologies. Times 12. There's the LCM between 3 and 4 is 12. So negative 12a plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times 10 is 40a. And then 12 divided by 4 is 3 minus 15. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then again, negative 57. Negative 12 and negative 15 is indeed negative 27 minus 57. We're going to add 27 to this side plus 27 to this side. 40a equals negative 30. We're going to divide both sides by 40. A equals negative 3/4. Get the same answer again. Alright, so substitution. I'm going to get negative, and the a here, I'll replace the a with negative 3/4. So every time I see a, I put negative 3/4. Minus 5 over 4 minus 8 over 3 times, again, negative 3/4. Plus 1 equals negative 19 over 4. 3/4, because a negative and negative are positive. And then inside the parentheses, this negative times this negative is going to be a positive, this section right here. So, this and this simplifies to 1. And this simplifies to 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I get minus 5 over 4 times 3. 3/4 minus, and then 5 times 3 is 15 over 4, and equals negative 19 over 4. Alright, I'm missing something and I can't find it. It's just a number that I copied it correctly. What did I do here? I'll come back to this one. 13. 15. Oh, geez, I can't even see that. 55 over 6. 55 over 6 equals equals 5 negative 5 over 2, 3 over 2p minus 5 over 3. I multiply this by 6 and get 315. All right, so this you're better off doing the distributive property for all of it. Let me show you why. Well, 55 over 6. Let me actually show you what happens if I don't do the distributive property first. So I'm going to multiply by 6 because I'm going to get the LCM between 6 and 2, not these guys inside the parentheses. Okay. So if I multiply this by 6, multiply this by 6, I'll put it to 6 over here. This 6 and this 6 simplifies to 1 and I get 55. This 6 and this 6 simplifies to 3 and 3 times 5 gives me negative 15. And then 3 over 2p minus 5 over 3. Now 55 equals, and notice that when I do this 3D property now, it's not really going to work with the 2. Because 15 and 2 don't simplify, so 15 times 3 is 45, and I'm going to get it over 2. Negative 15 and times negative 5 over 3 does simplify. 15 and 3 does simplify to 5, and I multiply the 5 on top, I'm going to get plus 25, but I still get a fraction. Right, which now I get to eliminate our fraction, multiply everybody by 2. So I'm going to take this, multiply by 2, take this, multiply by 2. 2 times 55 is 110, and then this gives me negative 45 plus 50. I'll leave that on the side for a second. Now, let me do the problem where I actually do the distributive property first. 5 over 2, 3 over 2p minus 5 over 3. So 55 over 6. And then negative times a positive is a negative. 5 times 3 is 50, and I get 15 over 4. P. Negative times a negative is a positive. 5 times 5 is 25, and 2 times 3 is 6. And this is what I get if I do this root property. Now, I can eliminate the denominators by multiplying everybody by 12, because that's the LCM between 4 and 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2, and 2 times 55, I get 110. Look. Now let's do the distributive property, the 12 and this guy first. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 3 times 15 gives me negative 45. P. Okay, I forgot the P here. And P here. And then this and this, 12 divided by 6 is 2, and then 2 times 25 gives me 50. Notice I get to the same spot. It's a matter of... So I think more often than not, it pays off maybe to do this properly. Okay, and unless you see it further ahead, okay, where that you can see that's not gonna help by getting rid of the fraction right away. So it's better to do it after the distributive property. Okay, well, let's continue. Well, I'm gonna erase this because that's probably, I think, the method that has more chances of you making a mistake. So we're going to subtract 50. That goes away. Negative 45p equals, what is this? 110 minus 50 is going to be positive 60. Right? Divide both sides by negative 45. And p, well, if we divide by 15, 60 divided by 15 is 4. And then 45 divided by 15 is 3 4/3 again. So I'm just going to put right there. Let's do the check. We have 55 over 6 equals negative 5 over 2. And inside the parentheses we have 3 over 2 times p. And p is negative 4 over 3. So I'm going to write negative 4 over 3 minus 5 over 3. This guy stays. It's going to stay there for a while. Now, negative 5 over 2. Let me not touch the factor outside. Let me clean up the parentheses. So, 3 over 2 times negative 4 over 3. Well, this guy simplifies to 1 and 1. Negative 4 and 2 simplifies to just simply negative 2. So, inside the parentheses, I get negative 2 minus 5 over 3. Okay. Let's continue. You could do the distributive property, or you can, subtract these two. So negative 5 over 2 the same thing as negative 2 times, so negative 2 minus 5 over 3 is just simply negative 2 and 5/3, which makes no sense. So what I'm going to do is, to make it easier, find the LCM, which is 3, right? 2 over 1. So the 5/3 stays the same, but the 1 changed to 3 multiplied by 3. So I'm going to multiply the top by 3, and that gives me 6, negative 6. 55 over 6 equals negative 5 over 2. I can combine these two finally, and I'm going to get negative 11 over 3. Right? So it's negative 6 minus 5, negative 11, and the denominator stay the same. And we can finally see that we're in the right path. Negative times negative is a positive. 5 times 11 is 55. And 2 times 3 is 6. Check. Did I just do that? Okay. So again, 13. I'll keep 13 in mind. Let's do the bottom here. That away. I'll do this. So, first question. 16 over 9 equals negative 4 over 3 minus 4/3 and minus 4/3. Yikes. Let's see. If I multiply everything by 9, right? So let's say I had a 9 here. I multiply this side by 9 as well. This and this goes away. I'm going to have 16, right? On this side, 9 divided by 3, I can simplify to 3. And then 3 times 4, it's going to be 12. So I'm going to have a 12 outside. Now, if I have a 12 outside, when I multiply by this, the 12 and 3 will simplify. And when I multiply it by that, the 12 and 3 will simplify again. So this is a problem where getting rid of the fractions first, actually, it's not a bad idea. Right? So, or like I said, you can do this reader property. So it's 16 over 9. Let me just do this reader property. Negative and negative is a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times 3 is 9 over n. Actually, this one, you'll end up saying that. And again, negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. And then 3 times 3 is 9. So this is what you end up getting. And you probably just worked out that this one doing street property is better. Now, what's the common denominator is 9, so I'm going to multiply this whole side by 9, and I'm going to multiply these guys each individually by 9. This and this simplifies. Left is 16, 9 and this 9, 9 divided by 9 is 1, and we get 16n, and then that's what we get. We're going to subtract 16 here, subtract 16. This goes away. 16n is what left over on the right side. 16 minus 16 is 0. Now divide this by 16, divide this by 16, and equals 0. Oh, beauty. So, your check, 16 over 9 equals negative 4/3 minus 4/3 times 0 minus 4/3. Well, let's see if that works. 16 over 9 equals negative 4/3. And inside the parentheses, let's work that out. 4/3 times 0 is just 0, so this goes away. And I'm left with just negative 4/3. Negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. At the bottom, 3 times 3 is 9. We are more than good here. Negative 5 over 8 equals 5 over 4r minus 3 over 2. I'm just going to do this straight properly. Negative 5 over 8 here. 5/4 times r is just 5/4 r. And then these two multiplied. There's nothing to simplify. So it's going to be negative, first of all. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 2 is 8. Now I can multiply this side by 8, which is the LCM, and this guy by 8. Everybody inside gets multiplied by 8. This and this simplifies to 1. 1 times negative 5 is just negative This 8 was this 4, simplified to 2, and 2 times 5 is 10, r. Minus this 8 and this 8 simplified to 1, and 1 times 15 is just 15. So this is what you have left over. Plus 15 on both sides. That goes away. The 10r comes down, and negative 5 plus 15 is just 10. Divide this by 10, divide that by 10, r equals 1. The second best choice answer in the world after 0 is only 1. Negative 5 over 8 equals 5 over 4. R is 1 minus 3 over 2. Negative 5 over 8 equals 5 fourths. Now think about what 1 divided by 3 over 2 is 1 and a half. Right, so you're literally left with 1 over 2. Negative, right? So if you think about this, you can quickly change it in your head, because this one's, that's what we're doing, right? 1 minus 3 over 2, which is 1 and a half, is just a half, right? Negative a half in this case. Negative 5 over 8. On the right side, 5 times 1 is 5, 4 times 2 is 8, and but make it negative. So that's pretty simple. Negative 11 over 3 plus 3 over 2b equals 5 over 2 b minus 5 over 3. Let's just do this to your property. So negative 11 over 3 plus 3 over 2b. 5 over 2 times b is just 5 over 2, but don't forget the b. And then positive times a negative is a negative. 5 times 5 is 25, and 2 times 3 at the bottom is 6. The LCM is 6. I multiply these guys by 6. And I multiply these guys by 6. 6 times 11 over 3. First of all, it's going to be negative. 6 divided by 3 is 2 times 11, negative 22. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Times 3 on top is 9. Don't forget the b. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Don't forget the b. And this 2, 6 simplified to 1, and 1 times 25 is negative 25. So that's what we have left over. So, distributive property, combine like terms, and now we have variables on both sides. Get rid of the smaller one. So, the smaller between the 9 and 15 is a 9. So, let's get rid of the 9. Minus 9b on both sides. That goes away. I'm left with negative 22 equals, what is that? 6b minus 25. You can do the story. Now just do it here. Here's my variable b. It's being multiplied by 6. Subtract 25 gives me negative 22. The two inverse operations will be plus 25 and then divide by 6. So first things first. Plus 25 plus 25. That goes away. I get 6b equals 3. Divide both sides by 6. b equals a half. Let's go through the check. Negative 11 over 3 plus 3 over 2. And instead of b, I'm going to write a half. Equals 5 over 2. And then a half minus 5 over 3. On the left side, negative 11 over 3. And then I can multiply these two, and I'm going to get 3 times 1 is 3 over 4. On the right side, it's 5 over 2. And then inside the parentheses, well, I can't subtract those two, but the common denominator is 6. So I'm going to change those to 6. How did a 2 become a 6 times 3, which means I multiply the top by 3, and 1 times 3 is 3. How did 3 becomes a 6 times 2, so I multiply the top times 2, and I get 10. Let's do this side. 5 over 2, I can finally subtract these two. 3 minus 10 is negative 7, 6. Let's just finish the right side. I get 5 times 7 is negative 35, and at the bottom is 12. So that's what I should get. So on the left side, the LCM is 12. I may change both to 12. Let's going to be a negative. How does 3 become a 12 times 4 and multiply the top by 4? It gives me 44. How did the 4 become 12 times 3? So I multiply the top by 3, I get a 9. I can finally combine negative 44 plus 9. It's going to be negative something over 12. And 44, yeah, $44 take away 9, left is 35. Thankfully. And that matches the right side. Negative 5 over 2x minus 3 over 2 equals negative 3 over 2 plus x. So I am doing this trig properly. So you can put a 1 here if you like. This one's simple. That subtraction sign is going to make everybody inside come out opposite. So negative, and a negative is a positive, and then it's just 5 over 2x, but positive. Again, negative and negative is positive, so 3 over 2. And on this side, it's negative 3 over 2 plus x. I'll put the x over 1. We're going to multiply everything by 2, because that's the LCM. So multiply this side by 2. Multiply this side by 2. Actually, I didn't need to put it over 1. So this 2 and this 2 simplify to 1. We get 5x. And then this 2 and this 2 simplify to 1, and we just get 3. On the right side, 2 times, we multiply these, right? The 2 simplify to 1, and left is negative 3. And 2 times x is just 2x. Variables on both sides, get rid of the smaller one. So we're going to do minus 2x and minus 2x. This becomes 3x plus 3 equals negative 3. That goes away. You can make your story, but your story is going to tell you to subtract 3 from both sides. We're going to have 3x equals negative 6. Divide both sides by 3. X equals negative 2. Right. Check our work. Wherever we see x, we're going to replace it with negative 2. So I'm going to put negative 2 here and negative 2 here. So negative 5 over 2 times negative 2, and I'll put it in parentheses because it's negative, minus 3 over 2. On the other side, negative 3 over 2 plus negative 2. Okay, we're adding. So let's take care of inside the parentheses. Negative 5 over 2 times negative 2. So this 2 and this 2 goes away. Negative times a negative is a positive. I'm left with 5. 5 minus 3 over 2. On the right side, okay, I'll put this over 1. Okay, so if you, actually, let's take a shortcut. Negative 3 over 2 is the same thing as negative 1.5. Yeah? If you change that to a mixed number. Negative 1.5 plus negative 2 is just negative 3.5. Okay. So negative, and then think about this is, so again, think about 3 over 2 as 1 and 1/2. What is 5 minus 1/2, right? What's 5 minus $1.50? We would have 3.5 left over inside the parentheses. Agreed? Excuse me. And then don't forget that there's a minus sign, so eventually this is going to change. 3.5 was positive right now to negative 3.5. Okay. 45 over 16. That's jeez. That's 3 over 2n equals 7 over 4n minus 19 over 16. Multiply everything by 16, right? So on the left side of the equation, multiply this by 16. The right side of the equal sign, multiply that by 16. Okay, do these two first. You multiply these two, the 16s end up simplifying, and you have 45 left over. 16 times this guy over here, the 16 and 2 become 8, and 8 divided by 8 times 3 is 24. N. If you multiply 16 times 7/4, The 16 and 4 simplify to 4. 4 times 7 is 28. And 16, when you multiply these two, the 16 and 16 become 1, and 1 times 19 is 19. There are variables on both sides, well, right? And then let's get rid of the smaller guy, which is this guy, minus 24n, and then minus 24n. This goes away, I'm left with 45. Over here I have 4n minus 19. Do your story if you have to. We're going to do plus 19, plus 19. That goes away, 4n, 5 plus 9 is 14, carry 1, 64. 64 divided by 4 is 16? No. Yeah, 16. So, divide by 4, and equals 16. Anytime you have a whole number, I think is a good thing. So 45 over 16 plus 3 over 2, and then I'm going to change the n, make it a 16, equals 7 over 4, and again I'm going to change the n to 16, minus 19 over 16. Step by step, 45 over 16. Then I'm going to combine this, going to multiply 3 halves times 16, and 16 and 2 simplify to 8. And 8 times 3 becomes 24. I'm going to write that. On the right side, well, 16 and 4 can simplify to 4, and I get 7 times 4, which is 28, minus 19 over 16. Now, I think probably the easier way to change these two to what do you call it? To mixed numbers. So 16 goes into 45, 32, 48 is going to be 2 times, right? And then 45 minus 32 is 12. And then 12 over 16 is left over, plus 24. Over here, 28 minus 19 over 16 is 1, and 3 over 16. Okay, let me add these two. Sorry, let me simplify that. 2 and 12 over 16 is going to be, let's see, divided by 4 is 3 plus 24. Let me just finish this. So on the left side, I get 26 and 3 4. Now, oh no, 1 and 3 over 16. Ah, boy. Or 16. Two and 13 over 16. Sorry, this is a 3. Oh, thank God. I found my mistake. This is 2 and 13 over 16. So that gives me 26 and 13 over 16. Now, if you subtract here, right, 28 minus 1 and 3 over 16, if you think about it, it's going to be the same thing as 26 and 13 over 16. Whew. Good thing we found my mistake. Which one did I just do? All right, so 3 over 2, v plus 3 over 2 equals negative 7 over 4, v minus 19 over 6. I am going to do this tree properly. So 3 over 2 v plus, and then multiply these two, I get 9 over 4 equals negative 7 over 4 v minus 19 over 6. Now multiply everything by 12 because that's the LCM. 12 times 3 over 2, 12 divided 2 is 6, times 3 is 18, v. 12 divided by 4 is 3 times 9 is 27. First of all, it's negative, and then 12 divided by 4 is 3 times 7, 21. This is also negative. 12 divided by 2 is 6 times 19, 38. I forgot a v. There are two v's. Let's get rid of the, write this again. That gives me 12 divided by 4, negative 21v minus 38. There are variables on both sides, and the smaller coefficient is this guy here. So I'm going to do plus 21v and plus 21v. That goes away. I'm left with negative 38. Here I have 39v plus 27. Now we do minus 27. I'm going to do minus 27. And we get 15, negative 65, and here we get 39v. Yikes! This one's going to be an ugly one. Divide by 39, divide by 39. V equals negative 65 over 39. We're going to go and replace 3 over 2. Put in parentheses here. Negative 65 over 39 plus 3 over 2 equals negative 7 over 4 times negative 65 over 39. And here's where your calculator is going to come in handy. Okay. There's a parentheses here. All right, so let's take care of the parentheses. 3 over 2, and we got to combine these. If you find the LCM ends up being 30, not 39, 78. That's a negative. 78 becomes 78. 39 times 3 is 117. And here it would be times 2, which gives me 110. So I'm just going to do the left side, okay? So now, let's continue. So I got 3 over 2. I can finally combine these two. Negative 110 plus 117 is just 7 over 78. I can simplify 3 and 78 because 7 plus 8 is 15, right? And 15 is divisible by 3. So 78 divided by 3 is actually 26. So I can write 126 over here. Now, there's nothing else to simplify. 1 times 7 is 7, and at the bottom, 2 times 26 is 52. For the love of God, I hope that the other side is also the same. Negative times a negative is a positive. Can we simplify anything? No, we can't. 4 times 39 is 156. Oh my God. 7 times 65 is 455. So now we have to subtract these two. 455 over 1. So the LCM between 156 and 6 is actually 156. We can find an equivalent fraction to 19 over 6 in terms of 156. So 156 divided by 6 equals 26. Now multiply the top by 26. And we get 676. No. Well, let's continue. 455 minus 676 equals 221. No, that's not going to... I messed up somewhere. I messed up here. 39, 39. Okay, that's okay. So, 78 divided by 2 equals 39. 39 times 3 is 117, so I'm okay there. times 5, 455, 4 times 39, 156. 6 times 26 is 156. 19 times 26, it is 494. Actually, this is 494. We'll just continue that. So 455 minus 494 is negative 39. That's 12. That's 12. Now, I messed up somewhere. I have to double check. So which one is this? I'll just do it again. 3 over 2. That's by your check. As you can tell, it's pretty important, right? Because then you know you did something wrong. Okay, distributive property. I get 3 over 2v plus distributive property, 9 times 9, 3 times 3 is 9 over 4. Negative 7 over 4v minus 19 over 6. Okay, I think I copied them correctly. Now I multiply everything by 12. Is that what I did before? Looks like it. Right, so 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18v. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 9 is 27. 12 divided by 4 is 3 times 7, negative 21v. 12 divided by 6 is 2, and 2 times 19 is negative 38. Is that what I did before? We're going to get rid of the negative 21 by adding 21v to both sides. That goes away. I'm left with negative 38. And this is 39v plus 27. We now do minus 27 on both sides. That goes away. I'm left with 39v equals 8 and 7 is 15. Carry 1. Negative 65. Divide both sides by 39. And I think that's the same answer I got. Okay, 3 over 2, parentheses, we replace the v with negative 65 over 39, plus 3 over 2. On the other side, negative 7 over 4 times negative 65 over 39, and then minus 19 over 6. Alright, so 3 over 2. Here, inside the parentheses, I'm going to use a calculator. Now, not. Right, that's a minus, right? So the LCM is 78. So I'm going to change that to 78. Change the other one to 78. 39 times 2 is 78. So I multiply 65 times 2 and I get 130. Ooh, I think that was a mistake. And then 2 times what? 78 times 39. And then 39 times 3 equals 117. I think that was my mistake. Let's just continue. 3 over 2. Now I can combine these two. Well, it's going to be a negative number, right? Because there's the opposite value of negative 130 is greater than 117. So that's going to leave me with 13 over 78. Right? Because negative 130 plus 117 is 13. I can simplify the 3 and 78. 78 divided by 3 is 26. So this one becomes 1. This one becomes 26. And look at that. I can simplify 26 and 13. This becomes 1. This becomes 2. I multiply these two, I actually get negative 1 over 4. On the right side, I can multiply these two right away. It's going to give me a positive. simplify anything. Doesn't look like it. So 7 times 65 is 455. And then 4 times 39 is 156. But positive, right? Because negative and negative is positive. Minus 19 over 6. But the LCM is indeed 156. I'm going to leave the first fraction alone, but I'm going to change the first fraction to second fraction to 156. 156 is times. So how did the 6 become 156? Times 26. Let me change colors. Times 26, and I'll multiply the top by 26. So 19 times 26 is 494. Equals, well, it's going to have, and then 455, so we have 494, and then positive 155. So you're going to subtract 14 and 5 is 9, 8 and 5 is 3. So you're going to have left over negative 139 over 156. 9 and 3 is 12, so that's divisible by 3. 1, 5, and 6 is 12, so that's also divisible by 3. 39, 78. So actually, they're both divisible by 39. So if I divide the top by 39, 39 divided by 39, I get 1. If I divide the bottom by 39, I get 4. Look, negative 1, 4 equals negative 1, 4. All right, at least I found a mistake, so this one is good. 47 over 9 plus 3 over 2 x equals 5 over 3. What is that? 5 over 2x plus 1. So, let's do this theory properly. I multiply these two. 5 and 5 is 25. 3 and 2 is 6. Don't forget the x. And then 5 thirds times 1 is just 5 thirds. What is the LCM of 9, 2, 6, and 13? It's going to be 18. I multiply this guy by 18 and this guy by 18. When I multiply these two, 18 and 9 simplify to 2. 2 times 47 is 94. Plus 18 divided by 2 is 9 times 3 is 27x. Good. Again, on the other side, 18, let's do this one and this one. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 3 times 25 is 75x. Plus 18 divided by 3 is 6 times 5 is 30. Let's get rid of the 27x by doing minus 27x. Minus 27x. That goes away. I'm left with 94 equals 75 minus 27 equals 48. X plus 30. I subtract 30 from both sides. That goes away. I'm left with 48x equals 64. Divide both sides by 48. And this goes away, and then 64 over 48. What can I simplify that? X, divide both sides by 8. So x equals 64 over 48. And then I divide top and bottom by 8. So if I divide this by 8, I get 8. If I divide the bottom by 8, I get, what do I get? I get 6. So I could have got it one more time. Divide both sides by 2. Top and bottom by 2. So the final answer is 4 over 3. Now we just got to do the check. 47 over 9 plus 3 over 2 x. Sorry, not x. 4 over 3 equals 5 over 3 and then 5 over 2 times 4 over 3 plus 1. Well, 47 over 9 gets to hang out for a little bit. Let's multiply these two. And I get, well, this one simplifies to 1. And then this one. So that just becomes 2. Over here, the 5 thirds hangs out a little bit. Let's do the parentheses first. So we have 5 halves times 4 thirds. 2 and a 4 can simplify to 2. And then 5 times 2 is 10. 10 over 3 plus 1. Now on this right side, I can change 47 over 9 to a mixed number. That makes it 5 and 3 over 9. That's 2. And if I keep combining, I get 7 and 3 over 9, which is really 7 and 1/3. Okay. Over here, I can change the 1 over 1, right? So a little trick here that you can do is change the 1 over 1 to 3 over 3. So now they have the same denominators, right? So I get 5 over 3, and then I can add, I can get 13 over 3. Let's see if I can simplify this. 9 times 3 times 3 is 9, so the bottom is 9. 5 times 13 is 65, right? 5 times 13 is 65. So 9 goes into 65 how many times? 7 times, which is 63. 2 over 9. No! What did I make? Oh, here's my mistake. Oh, gosh. My mistake's right here. So 47 over 9. 9 can go into 47 5 times, which is 45, and then we have a remainder of 2. So it's 5 and 2 9s plus 2 is just 7 and 2 9. Okay? And now you can see that they're both equal to each other. Okay? Yeah, let's stop here.